What up, headbangers? How you doing? I'm Rob O'Day, and welcome back to Enigma Media. Today we got a special show. We have New Jersey-based hip-hop artist Dizasterpiece, and I love the fucking name. It obviously tells
What
that
up, dude?
you're a metalhead. So yeah, introduce yourself and let me know how you got into this.
Yo, okay, what's up? I'm Dizasterpiece from New Jersey. Thank you for having me, first of all.
No worries, bro.
Second, uh, I got into it started as like a side project. I was always playing in hardcore bands and grindcore bands. For a minute, I was like singing even in like mathcore bands and shit. But I was always a lyricist, right? I always loved hip hop music, and there was a point in like the end of high school where like a lot of the bands I was in started breaking up, and I needed a project, something solo I could do, and I wasn't gonna do like acoustic guitar shit. I was more of a lyricist, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be able to like be on stage still and have stage presence, right? So I'm like, yo, this is my time. I'm gonna make a hip hop record that I always wanted to do, and so I did it like the same way I was doing my other bands in high school. Like I recorded decent quality, put some tracks online, tried to get booked, like played like little skate park shows, or yeah, I was opening up for like friends' metal bands and my friends' hardcore bands until eventually I came in contact with the right people that were hip hop promoters that wanted to put me on straight hip hop shows.
Yeah.
So then later on, I was able to open up for like bigger hip hop names, and it became like a full time career as like an MC and shit. So
Yeah, man. And you got to open up for some of my favorite artists because I used to do hip hop as well. But R.A. the Rugged
dope.
Man,
Okay.
dude, like fuck. And Immortal
Yeah, dude, he's
Technique, like
dope.
those are people I look up to, and those are, in my eyes, those are real fucking lyricists. So you know that if you're getting up there with them, that you've got some skill. And the one thing I was saying to Eric when he showed me your music, and he's the one who lined us up, was this guy reminds me of fucking Deltron. Like you just remind me of Del so
That's
much. Your
fucking cool.
style, I love it.
A lot of people say that. I want to make it clear that I'm not ripping Dell off.
No, but it's
You know, a lot
it
of people
just
say that
sounds
it's a
so
compliment.
good.
It's
It's
like,
like
yeah.
it's like the Dell that we need back, because like it there's always going to be
Okay,
a
thank you.
certain sound, you know what I mean? Like, and the way the flow is, it's just the way that you break down your syllable counts and the references that you use in your entendres. They're just fucking beautiful. Like I've been sessioning your album this morning when I
Thank
wasn't
you.
doing shows, and I'm like, fuck man, I want to toss this shit on. Like I want to do a hip hop day where I can just like stream your music and my friends who do hip hop because there's a lot of talent in the underground.
Most definitely, dude. And it's a shame that some of these kids that are like even doper than me don't get as much traction. But that's my whole thing. Like I'm trying to get big
Mm-hmm.
and just bring the old school thing back. It would just up the ante. Like, you'd have to like people would bring back trying to get as creative as possible, just come with skill, and it would bring back the craft. And you know what? If you like do this style or that style, like I'm not into the trap music
No, me
shit,
neither.
but like if it pays your bills and you like it, whatever,
Yeah.
people like it, but at least there should be a bigger platform for people that are still trying to do it like the old school form of it.
Yeah, and I think that there's a big difference between like fucking rap and hip hop, and I don't think people understand the difference between it because rap is, I've always said, is for show. Hip hop has a message. So I always have to like
Yes.
break that apart between people and be like, no, like you can't just say hip hop sucks because you're thinking rap. Like that's like me saying country sucks, but I'm actually talking
No,
about southern
if I'm
rock.
at a
Like you can't mix the two.
check this out. If I'm at a bar, if I go to a bar and some chick, I wind up talking to her and she's like, "So what do you do for a living?" And I tell her that I'm a rapper.
Right?
She automatically, I don't want to generalize, but most people I tell this to that I don't know, affiliated immediately with like modern day trap
With
club music
auto
shit
tune, yeah.
with asses shaking and all auto tune, barely any rhyming, and like I that sucks. That like I have to always get thrown into that batch because I'm a rapper. But
Yep. No, and I totally get
opening
it.
up for Mortal Technique, I want to say, or Mortal Technique and R.A. the Rugged Man. were major monumental moments of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was flattered that even because this was years ago, still I didn't have a fraction of the fan base and following I do now. I was honored that they thought I was good enough to go on stage and do that. And that's cool that you're super into them. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I did hip hop for I think it was a good 5 years, and I worked with
Okay.
like Mercules and Snack. I opened up for Master Ace, Hobson, Swollen members, like tons of groups, and hip hop was fun for me. It was just that it was super cutthroat, especially coming from a metalhead perspective.
Yeah, it is cutthroat. The best thing I can do, fortunately, I don't want to jinx myself. I don't have too many bad experiences. I come in with this, like I try to give respect
Mm-hmm.
and not take any shit from people
Yeah.
at the same time. So I stay even keeled, and just be good. Just get up. I'm about my business, right?
Yeah.
So I negotiate. I show up. I get up. I do my set, sell some merch, kick it a little bit, and dip. Whereas for metal shows and metalcore shows, you can hang out a little bit more. You hang out in the crowd, hang out at your merch table.
Yeah.
But like that's because the whole theme is people like put out good vibes. Like, yo, I'll promote your band, you promote my band. In hip hop, it's a dick measuring contest
Yeah.
the
It
whole
really
time.
is.
Yeah, so you have to just come in fiercely and be a little bit more
You almost
wary of stuff that might go down.
It's funny because metalheads, they have this look about us that is like, okay, like you think they're gonna be really mean and hard and
Yeah,
aggressive. In reality, it's like
yeah,
that's what the hip hop artists are, and it's a funny
for sure.
world to see.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's so close to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yep.
it brings street culture in, which is fine. That's what hip hop culture is. But like to one who is new to like trying to be an artist in it,
Yeah.
there are things that will be like, damn, okay, like, and you'll be like, I especially I was younger. I was like 22 when I started Dizasterpiece, and like I as a person was a little bit more. I was passionate. I was like I was a young kid, so
Yeah.
there were some things I was kind of naive to, but we fixed it up real quick.
Yeah. See, that sounds like me. I was 21 when I started, and I was working with a bunch of different people. But I mean, I've learned so much since then. I've grown so much since then. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm in a band, like a metal band, I just use my rap, like my hip hop inside of it. So like there'll be a sick greasy breakdown, and I throw a hip hop verse over it,
Sick.
right? So it's just for me, it just,
I love that. I always.
dude. Well, I think we should
Oh, sorry.
totally
Finish. I didn't mean to
do a
interrupt.
collab with you, get you on a track with a fucking heavy drop down breakdown. That'd be epic.
Dude, I would love to. Actually, it's funny you say that because the new record that I have coming out has a little bit more rock and metal influence. I play guitar and bass
Sick.
on it. It's still a straight hip hop record. It sounds like something that came out of the East Coast from 1992.
Nice.
Which is my
That's hip
theme.
hop,
But
dude.
there's more elements of metal and rock on it, and I'm hinting that eventually soon I might do just a straight rap rock record, and then it will have some breakdowns and
Hell yeah,
shit.
dude. Why
So
not? I mean, in this day and
yeah,
age, there's no limits, especially with hip hop. I find that there's a lot of metal influence in hip hop now, like a ton. You see a lot of
I
instrumentals
know.
that have distorted guitars, and you got Travis Barker playing with fucking tons of people. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the most punk rock drummers ever. So it's kind of badass to see
Yeah,
metal starting to take over hip hop culture when hip hop culture has been so strong in everything. Oh, oh, we lost him. Let's see. What happened there? OBS has been acting up today. Yeah, he dropped out. OBS has been acting up a bunch. How's everybody in Facebook doing so far? I haven't had a chance to say hey. What's up, Tina? What's up, Dallas? How's everybody doing? We'll get this going. It's been a good interview so far. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm going to be probably hosting a hip-hop show featuring a lot of his tunes either tonight after the spooky show or tomorrow at some point. So I think that'll be really cool because if you haven't checked out his music yet, I definitely recommend doing it because he's got some skill, man. It's insane. It's insane how talented it is. How many hip hop artists can just hop on and do, or metal artists can hop on and do hip hop. I think it's a beautiful thing. We got him back. We
I'm
got
sorry, I
you
don't know
back.
what happened.
No
Yeah.
worries, bro. OBS, like I said, it's been acting up all day. I just kept rambling and talking about you, so it's okay.
Okay, sick.
So tell me
So
about
okay,
your.
where we at?
I think we were talking about your new album and how you wanted to do that. Add some more
Yeah.
rock elements to it.
Yeah, I just always like I shamelessly love. I grew up on new metal and Limp Bizkit and Korn
Yep.
and Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. So since I was a little kid, I always loved rock with rap, and then I always loved I like to every extreme of it. Like I still love death metal
Fuck
and
yeah.
grindcore, and beat down tough guy hardcore. But
Yep.
I love technical, lyrical hip hop, like Wu-Tang Clan
Fuck
and MF
yes, dude.
Doom, and Redman. Redman's one of my favorite rappers, and I know I said Wu-Tang, but
Yep.
specifically Method Man,
Yep.
one of my favorite rappers. There's a lot of the trap, new age hip hop world. There's a lot of metal meets trap, but I don't see anything new that has like straight like technical East Coast hip hop
Yeah.
with straight hardcore. So I would love to put out something like that.
Right. No, and that's the thing is, we strictly do metal and underground like punk and rock interviews. But Eric was like, "You have to talk with this guy." And it's funny enough, I've had a bunch of friends in hip
Eric's the
hop.
man, by the way. Shout out
Right?
Eric.
Shout out to Eric. He's the shit.
Terra Crew Productions. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love Eric. Me and him get along real well. But I've been like brainstorming the concept of having a hip hop, just starting to branch out and doing certain hip hop artists and stuff. And I think it was like the perfect timing. So I'm like, fuck yeah. So I want to hear more about this upcoming album you've got going. Is it Regression Towards the Moon? Is that what it is?
Regression toward the mean. Did you say toward the
Mean.
moon?
Oh yeah, I thought it looks like an O to me, but
The
I don't have
dark side
glasses
of the
on.
moon? Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Regression toward the mean. So it's like the term is actually in statistics when a measurement is not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Probable that the second or third measurement will be where you assumed it would be, in the middle, the mean, the average.
Mm-hmm.
So regression toward the mean is a metaphor for like it's multiple things where I am as a person, like way more confident than when I started this shit, but a little smacked up. So my ego went back this way. So the pendulum is right in the middle, because there is a time I wasn't confident enough, which is natural when you're new to getting on stage a shit ton in front of new audiences.
And then getting
there was a time where I was overconfident and I was egotistical and was a dick. So right in the middle, and as far as my sound goes, it's in the middle, because this is the most like purest, polished form of my craft. Everything you and anybody else likes about my shit, it's like the more polished, perfected version. It's like the concentrated, pure THC in itself of what you just the good. It just gets straight to the good shit
right.
that you like, to the cream filling the whole time, right? And it's called regression toward the mean, also because the state of hip hop, is very much so. Let me sound unbiased about it, even though sometimes I'm not. But like, you have all this. We're not gonna call it bullshit, but you have it going this way, and everybody does this way sound, and some people think it should go this way, but there's nothing physically happening to make it go back this way. We don't need to exterminate. Sometimes I said that once in my lyrics, but I was just like, it's just lyrics. But as a movement, we don't need hip hop to go all the way back to the 90s and 80s, right? If people like the new shit, but we don't need all this toxic mumbling shit leading the whole culture all the time. So regression toward the mean, the most important meaning to it, I guess, is that like it's going back to where like you or like one of my other fans that appreciates hip hop culture knew hip hop as, to where you, when your head, when you think hip hop, you think here where it's gonna be. So that's kind of what it is,
Yeah. No, it's funny because when I think of hip hop, like when I fell in love with hip hop, Man, it was young. Like it started
Mhm.
off with Limp Bizkit, like you said, and my brother listened to a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of ICP and Eminem.
Nice.
So it was
Okay.
like I moved from that towards like Wu Tang and Far Side and like Micah Nine and fucking so many of these crazy artists out there that are underground that nobody really understands. And then I like
Yeah.
progressed to Australian hip hop, and I'm like obsessed
Really,
with
Australian hip hop's pretty good, bro.
Bliss and Esso, dude, is fucking insane. And you got like
I
360 and oh
I
man,
haven't listened to enough of it, but anytime I heard it, it was really, really fucking good.
yeah. I was on guest list for Bliss and Esso, and I got so hammered that night, but man, they throw one hell of a fucking performance.
That's badass,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, they're a fucking
Yeah.
awesome group of people.
I'm interested in hearing your hip hop shit now. When we get off, you're gonna have to send it to me. I'd
I
love
will
to
for
check it
sure.
out.
I have actually just like pulled it up back up and started sharing it with people, but yeah, I
Dick.
did like this random. It was funny. I had carpal tunnel surgery done at 22 because I had played
Okay,
guitar
wow.
for so long, and I was basically my dominant hand was out of commission for a good month. So I produced an entire album and wrote an entire album on paper with my left hand. So the last album I ever did was like this weird concept of me doing everything backwards.
That's sick. I would check. I would
I'll definitely send you a link to it.
listen
It'll be fun.
to that, bro.
Oh,
Check it out. And
there you go.
here we are. Good.
Yeah, it's probably
Okay.
just the connection. So you have an EP out right now, right? That was
Yeah,
what I
it's
was
a
listening to.
split with little P.
Yeah, and it's got
Yeah.
some fucking sick tunes
Into
on
Deep
it.
Sleep is the name of it. Thank you, bro. I make all my beats.
You do?
With
You're
the help of
self-produced?
my brother. We get yes. I usually what happens is I get on, like a Kai MPCs, like an old school drum machine,
Yeah.
and I have like old school synths, and I'll make the beats usually without computers. Like I'll make it. I have like old software shit, so
That's
I
dope.
make the beat there, and then I take it, and then we throw it into Ableton. We throw it into Ableton at the end, so my brother could just mix and master the levels, and I'll already have the lyrics written to throw down, and I'll just pop the lyrics in. But usually, the songs are written on like little beat machines first, just by me, and then eventually once they're in Ableton or wherever or Pro Tools, then we go back in. I'll go back in and do play guitar over it sometimes, or play bass guitar over it. Yeah,
That's dope. I like that a
yeah, man.
lot. That was one thing I always tried to do was implement like more rock behind my instrumentals. And I did a
Mhm.
lot of reggae because I found reggae was super good for rap.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I love reggae
It's
music,
just got
bro.
such a good flow for hip hop, so it's funny.
It does. Yeah, it's man. Honestly, I don't listen to enough. My brother loves reggae. I'm always listening to metal or hardcore, but
Right?
my brother we want to chill out and smoke, so he'll put on reggae. And in my head, I'm like, God, I don't know why I don't listen to more reggae. Very calming.
Oh,
It
dude,
makes me feel
I
really chill.
I'm obsessed with reggae on the side. I listen to a ton of metal on my radio show, but like I did a show the other
Yeah.
day and put on just random like indie influences and stuff that's not metal that I liked. And people fell
Mhm.
in love with the reggae and the Australian hip hop, and I was like, sweet, that's where
You're
it's
gonna have
at.
to send me some of this shit, bro.
I will. I'll give you a
Send me,
list
link me up,
for
shit out.
sure. Cause like I mean, Seth Century, you got Pez, you got fucking so many good Hilltop Hoods, so many good artists out of Australia. I think that they
I
kind
would
of
love to go play Australia too.
oh dude, their hip hop scene is insane.
So where are you based out of? What city
I'm
are
based
you
out of
operating?
basically the Okanagan, so just outside of Vancouver, a couple hours in
Oh
BC.
wow, okay. Yeah, I would love to come up that way
Oh
to
hell
do
yeah,
a
dude!
show.
I know a ton of
Trying to
promoters
get
up
out.
here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was talking to Eric. And we don't have to talk business on the interview,
Yeah,
but you want to talk about the new record. So I mean,
yeah.
this is great though, because me and you vibe.
Oh hell yeah,
Uh,
dude.
the new record though, man, it's 9 tracks. There was gonna be more. Those 2 songs. This is what you said. The EP, the 2 songs that you liked on that EP are coming out on this LP. Reworked. They
Sick.
sound much better, and that way I could have them on my own because they're on that split, and I kind of just wanted to bring them into an LP. But the other songs are very much so bouncy like that, and very just boom bap, like thick heavy drums.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very DJ Premier influence, very Gangstar influence.
Fuck yeah.
My the vocals, I guess, like people say. I
Rest
know
in
people
peace,
say Dell a
Guru.
lot, but I also get on my newer shit. I get Cypress Hill sometimes, you know, which is cool because Cypress Hill is definitely a major influence.
Right?
House of Pain, Redman, like I said earlier, Method Man. So, and you're gonna see all of that, all the like I said, the concentrated purest form of my style. You'll see a lot of my influences getting worked in again or for the first time. And there's a lyric video. Sorry, no, there's a music video that we shot in Austin, Texas. I'm back in New Jersey right now, but we shot a music video in Austin, Texas, and it's like outside we run and gun by the bus stop, this and that, and then the last 3 hours we moved to a studio, and filmed with a backdrop and like lights and shit. So that's coming out for one single, and then we have another single. It's gonna be an animated lyric video,
Oh, sick.
like which it's like kind of like 2-dimensional animation. It's kind of shitty, kind of dope at the same time. Like it looks like animation from Newgrounds.com from
Oh,
back
hell
in the
yeah.
day. You know, like one of those little
Yeah.
games that they have.
So
you know.
good.
But yeah. So, but I think I thought it would be interesting to do a lyric video in that style because you know I had come across somebody that was like, "Yo, let me know if you need any projects," and I was like, I could actually see this working with some tracks on the new record. So for the music video itself, it's for a song called Echo Chamber, right? And for the animated lyric video, it's for a song called House of Melatonin, and in parentheses, Stairway to 7-Eleven.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Stairway to 7-Eleven, and you'll see it's about a near-death experience and all sorts of shit, Xanax and crazy. There's a dark chapter in my life when I was writing that song. And Echo Chamber is more of like a lyrical stand-up, like, hey, I'm kind of fed up with the glorification of this and that, and people using their what they think is social status to gatekeep and tell people what to do, but none of it's real. You're faking the funk. I'm real. Sit down. So Echo Chamber is kind of like that.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I find
man.
that there's not enough conscious hip hop out there now. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
flash, but that's why I've always loved the East Coast hip hop scene. Is it's always got such a good
Yeah.
message. Because I mean, the East
Yeah,
Coast is where it's at.
that's why I like East Coast for sure. Not just because I'm from over here, but I just always loved the seriousness of it. A lot of people be like, "Oh, yo, chill out, this or that." There's many ways in life to chill out. Hip hop and hip hop culture tells a story. It's serious because its culture is serious, right? And party songs are cool if you want to like go to the club and dance, right? But like the East Coast always brought it like to the point, real, a grounded, don't even fuck with me approach to it. It was hard, and I like that. I identify with that energy. So it's unfortunate that like people have to call that conscious hip hop. Because I think all music, not all music, but a good portion of music is conscious and should be conscious because you write, you put together a song which takes your brain. It's hard to write a song, and then you write lyrics on top of that, and when you speak those lyrics, you're speaking about shit that you see and feel and think about. So the whole thing's conscious, except we're in this wave of unconscious music. Purposely close my eyes. I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't give a fuck. Unconscious. Fine if you want to do that. Like I said, I want to sound like an elitist too hard, but it's unfortunate that because that's a big thing now, a cat like me has to be like called conscious hip hop, which I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it. But don't you think that kind of sucks?
being
That
classified.
that's what it is to be
Yeah,
classified or to be classified as conscious hip hop when hip hop itself,
it's
the
conscious.
whole thing was
Yeah, from
conscious
the
back.
beginning. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, no, I totally get that. It's that's just kind of how I feel everything from religion to music has been like kind of segregated in these sections, and like genres have been, or like these little groups of everyone in their own place. And I feel like music itself, whether it's hip hop, whether it's metal, whether it's electronic music, really depends on the person and the motive behind the person. Is they can
Yeah,
create such a movement, and I think they're afraid of that. That's why they separate all the genres, and you're this core or metalcore, you're conscious hip hop, you're basic hip
yeah.
hop.
I think that people crave division, even if it's subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
because you have all these, which as they should be, but you have. Wait, I want to say this the right way. There's a way to speak of this without like people wanting to cut your throat and cancel you.
Yep.
But you have people fighting against racism, good. People
Mm-hmm.
fighting against homophobia, good. Fight the intolerant,
Mm-hmm.
fair enough. But I think some of you accidentally also subconsciously crave division at the same time because I'm not seeing you. The goal is to be unified. We're
Yep.
all human beings. Never mind. We all. It's the whole movement of anything. We're never mind skin color or preference. We're all human beings on Earth.
Yep.
Then let's act like unified human beings on Earth.
Yeah.
But you see so much classify this, classify that. Whatever happened to just like doing with good intentions and passionate and then making people feel good
Yep.
from it? That's what music is. Like you get on
Mm-hmm.
stage and someone's like, oh, damn, I can't believe I never heard of that band or that dude. That's dope. And it changes. They're 14 years old, changes their life. They buy the record, right?
Yep.
This relatable, conscious energy you put out. So why so much dividing up and this and that? I don't get it,
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Especially you see it a lot in the metal culture with metalcore,
Yeah.
deathcore, thrash. Everyone's got.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, man, we're just metal. We're metal. That's what we play.
It's not even we human beings, souls, we're spirits in bodies
Yeah.
trying to enjoy our time here on Earth. I know it sounds a little bit corny and hippie-ish, but because the idea stems for me is because I play for so many different audiences, bro.
Yeah.
I'm playing for like a whole room of hardcore kids, a whole room of gangsters, a frat house, all college kids. You know what I mean? Like all races, all different little demographics
Mm-hmm.
merging, buying my shirts, which is great. Because
Yep.
when I grew up on a band like Limp Bizkit or even Metallica, you'd see so many different kinds of kids and adults buying their shit and repping them. That's what I would like to be, or it's on its way there. It has mass audience potential. Like this sorority chick wearing my shirt here, and this kid who screams in a death metal band wearing my shirt, and Rakim
Right.
and his bouncers wearing my shit, and I
That's
love that because music is supposed to break down the borders, the barriers, right? So
you got
right?
one of the legends rocking your shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got to meet him, and I gave him my stuff. I don't know if you know this, but I did open also up for Rakim.
Yeah, and you
So,
had a couple other.
yeah.
I had them written down. I just completely spaced out. I was gonna bring it up later.
Yeah. Pete Rock and CL Smooth,
Yeah.
Danny Diablo,
There's-
uh,
There's some
My
amazing
bad.
underground artists out there. Like I have Sunny Bamboo on Facebook, and he's one of my biggest inspirations from the East Coast. And he's really underground. Not many people know him, but motherfucker kills people in battle. You know what I mean? Like battle raps,
Yeah.
like shit.
Bro, motherfuckers are dope. It's like I wish there'd be more emphasis put on these people that are like dope. So a lot of dope people in the underground,
Mm-hmm.
and modern day people will be like, who? They think it's you don't sound cool saying who. That just means you don't know about underground culture.
Yeah.
When you because people believe that what they know, that they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if they haven't heard of you, you must not be shit. When
Right.
really, they're really just not in tune with actual art and the underground, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So there's a lot of people throw hate, this and that, but like, when's the last time somebody commenting some shit went to a show in the underground to support
Yeah.
someone dope, and it is what it is. That's the time it is. But I'm trying to work around that shit, because there's cats that are doper than me in the underground. It's just I got a good package going on right now. I have, people interested, like, oh, you got the image too, you got fan base shirts, whatever. So it takes more than just mic skills to get put on, and that's because it's a business.
That's why they
And
call it
then
the
on top of
hustle.
that, the hustle is competing with people that don't love it and do it
Yeah.
like the way you do it. You and the rest of the underground, you do it like this, and you're trying to do it and win like they are, but you're kind of, at this point, could be considered a separate genre than these
Mm-hmm.
people that are also hip hop.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed world, man. And it's like, one thing I would like to do if I got huge, I would throw more underground hip hop shows and pump money into them. So some of these cats that are just so dope that need
Yeah.
more recognition, I would put them on the shows.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that that's one thing I always talk about when I'm interviewing bands, is that I
Oh yeah,
wish artists that were making it would help the region they're from. Like, for example, Upon a Burning Body, they help out
yeah.
the local bands so much. It would be cool to see
Very
that in
cool. It's
every
from
genre.
Texas, right?
Yeah,
Upon a burning bodies from okay,
yeah,
San Antonio, I think,
exactly.
or Corpus
Yes,
Christi.
yeah,
Corpus
and
Christi,
they
I
put
think,
on
actually.
shows for like Cauterized, and they do shows with like Semper Service, and like I have a ton of friends that are from Texas metal scene now, simply
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Eric. Like, he has introduced me to so many people that I'm like daily talking to as friends now.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
funny because music, it does connect, and I think that the more people hear the struggles and how it is in the underground, not just like seeing the image on music videos and like, because especially in hip hop, it's so easy. There's one thing that metalheads don't get. It is so easy to make yourself seem bigger than you are, so that people will look at you. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what a lot of my new lyrics are about. That's what I was trying to explain to you.
yeah,
'Cause on the record, a lot of the songs are about. Uh, it's more so. It's like, okay, check this out. Like, you have people buying blue check marks. They're buying their verification
yep,
on on Instagram. But check out my scenario. I'm verified already on Facebook. I'm having a little bit more trouble getting my verification on Instagram,
mm-hmm,
right? Does that mean I'm not famous? Not necessarily. I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal? Facebook owns Instagram, right? And if you have it, you should have it on Instagram if you have it on Facebook. Well, they made it a little bit harder because some shit during the election. Apparently, someone impressed told me this on the phone. People faked with fake accounts, or they faked politician accounts. So Instagram specifically made it harder. Now I have news articles out about me. I have more news articles coming out.
mm-hmm,
It's a little bit more difficult. But then the game that you have to bring that into is, like, again, like, if you're trying to, you tell some kids, yo, come to my show tonight, blah blah blah. Someone asks, like, yo, like, a lot of times I'll just be at the grocery store and someone asks me, like, yo, are you a rapper? And I'm like, yeah. And you know, the whole social promote your shit stuff to someone who's not affiliated like you, like with the scene,
mm-hmm,
where you just I've never heard of them, but I think they might be dope, and you go check them out.
yep,
That's not how other people are.
no,
So if I don't have that blue check mark when they pull up my Instagram, they're not going to take me seriously. Oh, he doesn't tour, this or that. And I know it doesn't matter per se what other people think,
mm-hmm,
but it kind of does when, like, you're in a position like me, like, known in the underground and really trying to cross over,
into the
and you
major,
need
yeah,
as many people to back you as possible. So when some kid or some chick at a bar asks, you got to be like, they love their phones. That's what there's a
yeah,
trick, there's a sweet spot where, like, if some girl's like, oh, what do you do? I pull out, this is so whack, it's so lame, right? But I have to do it. I pull out my Facebook with my verified page,
mm-hmm,
and I'm like, oh, this is me. I'm a known artist. I'm not that big, but I tour all over. And
yeah.
they'll be like, oh my god,
I
and they'll
mean,
be so impressed.
bro, you
But when
got
I
what,
don't show them,
25?
What
25,000
up?
on Facebook, something like
Yeah,
that. Like that's
yeah,
that's an
and
amazing
that's
number to
recent.
achieve.
Thank you. That's recent. I was at like 7,010 for a bit,
Hmm.
but now with that 25, I worked really hard
Yeah.
for all that shit, and I worked really hard for my shows. So I'm sick of someone in public not taking me. Rakim took me seriously. You know, it's like it came. That's where ego is kind of essential. Sometimes it's the game that they make that you got to survive in. Because I
Yep.
would rather just be like, yo, what up? Be cool, not have to flex, not have to measure dick sizes. But this thing is like you have all these haters, and at the same, they think they're right about shit. They've never been to an underground show. A,
Hmm.
B, they think you're nobody if they don't see you on blasted around TikTok, right? So
Yeah.
it's like I gotta come in like, yo, I'm dope. No, and remind myself in my head, because I've opened up for A, B, C, and D, and sold mad merch at those shows. So whoever the fuck this person is today, they're not gonna suck out my mojo,
Yeah.
because they're blood sucking leeches with energy. Sometimes it's this game that people play,
Yep.
and the more I treat it, the more I just like stay in routine of like, don't pay attention to that. The album's coming out soon. Kill it. You got a show coming up. Hydrate. Shut the outside voices out.
Yep.
The more I build like a wall of like energy, because those things will get you.
Oh
Because
hell
even
yeah.
no matter how dope I am, or like where I've been in the world with my music, you can still be a little vulnerable sometimes. You're an entertainer, you're an artist, and these people who don't accomplish a fraction of what you do
Yep.
will still come in and try to pop that bubble for you, right? So it's all stems from the ability to think that you're somebody that you're not with social media, and never have to be checked for it,
Yep.
because you could just stay behind your screen. And B, people being misinformed that like there's only two worlds, like you're either like 6'9" big and everybody knows who you are, or you must not be anybody, because that's not true, because there's a whole underground. And I would love to make more young kids aware of that underground too if I got
Yeah.
really big.
Honestly, the underground is it's its own entity, especially in hip hop. Like underground metal is its own beast altogether, but they're a lot more tight knit. But the underground hip hop scene is very, hey, let's do a show together. As soon as I get your fans over to me, I'm gonna start dissing you. And I find there's a lot of beef in hip hop just to push each other to get to a level that
Mm.
there's higher, at least on the West Coast. And that was one thing that drove me out of hip hop because I had a lot of friends in it, but then you'd see even your friends would be competing with you. You know what I mean? Like you're like,
Yeah,
damn, dude,
that's
like we're supposed to do this together. If one of us makes it big, the rest of us make it big. That's the metal mentality. So walking into hip hop with that mentality, it almost killed me. You know what I mean? Because like
yeah,
I try to help
it's
everyone.
cutthroat. It's cutthroat. The thing that people don't understand, or maybe they do understand, but they do it anyway. Like, that energy is toxic. So you're not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to manifest that preferred record deal I always had in my head with that energy. And
Mm-hmm.
you still might get points, like you destroy this dude, who this dude was kind of rude. So you're gonna look like the bad guy, but you diss him first, and it's justified. And now he's justified that he disses you back. So it's not like evil in their heads per
No.
se. You're like, he disrespected me. It's justified to an extent. So you can still, and then somebody wins, and they take the points, and that's street credit and respect. Cool, you know what it is.
Yeah.
But for me, that's not my style,
No.
because like I rely on like source energy and manifestation, and like just putting in the right thing, but remaining planted in it, and trying to get on the right path, get on this show, get on that show. I'm really hungry out here trying to do it. Like I
Yep.
really want my life to go that direction. So for me, it would be, I would see it as bad karma to just go back and forth with people like that. It would uh, veer my energy the wrong way, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah, and I think that it definitely you have to as a hip hop artist you have to be able to push things aside and just slough them off. I've noticed that that's one thing is people will talk shit as soon as you're making it somewhere,
Yeah, isn't that a shame
right?
though? You know what I mean? Like, and can't you just, that's a loser
Yeah.
mentality. You consider, check this out. If you came to me, if we became friends after this interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you hit me up like, yo, I just got signed. They gave me $2 million. And in my head, I could, naturally, I might be like, oh, where's my $2 million?
Right?
But I'm like, I could just, but I know that I would switch that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, good for him. That's fucking dope.
Yeah.
That's sick. Good for him. Why? Because I know that I still win, right? So let a friend tell me they're winning. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. Genuinely happy for them because I still get to win. When you have so many people losing, they don't even know how to stop the losing and turn it around. They hate so hard. Why don't you take your energy that you hate with and flip it and go do something creative with it? Go do something productive, and then you won't, and it's all, I see people that like never thought I would. I work in pizza places when I was young, and I was selling like ridiculous amount of tickets to get on this show, like with a big name, but it was so hard, and I was like, yo, I'm opening up for Pete Rock and CL Smooth this weekend. You should come. And they'll make it must have really went downhill if you're opening all kinds of shit that like was discouraging when I was younger, and I persisted and I'm killing it. And then you hear little mutters like, bitch, why don't you come fucking say, I don't know if I could curse in it.
No, you can, dude. Go ahead.
Come say that to my face, or we don't even have to beef. Come to a show and see my set and see in the flesh how dope I am, how much you're wasting your time with yourself.
Me. Yeah.
With the hate. Hate's bad because it's just gonna it's not gonna bring you good. So you're just gonna get mad every time somebody wins because you're not winning because you stay stuck like that, right?
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
No, it's true. Like yesterday, I found out that good buddies of mine got signed to a record label, and I was so amped for them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that's what you have to do. They deserve it.
Exactly.
They've worked their ass off.
Yeah.
It's not it's not just given. If you get a record deal, you've earned it especially with as many artists out there as there is. Like, it's a flooded market.
And the state of the music industry with COVID, because before COVID, you have oversaturation. Always, ever since like Warped Tour, early mid 2010 era. With like when everybody was doing, I hated that shit, but like crabcore, the attack style. I'm not dissing them, but like that style, the stand on the light box, crouch up and down, Christcore run in place thing. I hated that look. That's saturated. Hip hop has always been saturated since hip hop was like started becoming. People didn't know that there was gonna be a hip hop record. It was all block party shit. And they didn't think there was room for it to like really be mainstream in society. As soon as it popped off, everybody's jumping on it. Hip hop record, hip hop. Naturally, people jump on new things that seem like they'll bring new revenue, and then immediately music has been oversaturated for years. But there's not as much money in the industry now that people don't buy CDs, and kids don't like care anymore. They don't go like, yo. So then you have COVID hit that. All your favorite bands, all your favorite rappers, my favorite bands and favorite rappers aren't even on tour, can't make money. So props to anybody who could get signed and get a good deal that is not there's ways to get signed where the deal's good. Everybody's like, oh, record labels. No, just find yourself a deal that works. And whoever gets a deal during this time, props them, bro, because it's the hardest shit to do, but you can do it. Just keep working hard. That's where I'm aiming towards. I'm trying to figure out what label will release this new record of mine. That's why it's not out yet, because I'm shopping it. Everything's finished. Like I said, the videos are finished. All the songs are recorded, but it's sitting to see who's gonna release it, or do I put it out independently and use this plug and that plug and that plug to promote it and sign a better deal next record, so we'll see.
Yeah, see, that's the hard thing, right? Sometimes that's the hardest thing, is when you're ready to sign the deal and you're reading the contract and you see it and it's in your hands, and sometimes that just I don't know, I've walked away from a couple deals because of that. Just that you look into it, you start to realize like it's like almost selling your soul.
It almost is, but you just got to make sure that the deal is sweet enough on your end too.
Yeah.
Or even if like they request this of you and that's that kind of heavy, at least you get some things you've been dreaming about in it. And yeah, I've seen some contracts so far. It's cool. I am flattered. I am flattered that people want to offer me shit, that people want me to sign. And I don't want to sell myself short. So I'm just gonna like trust that the universe helps me make with the best gut feeling to execute. Because it would be a shame, you have the artwork, my new art album artwork in the backdrop. Record has potential. The songs are good, the lyrics are good, but the artwork's good. It would be a shame for it to not be blasted, like a blasted audience listening from the get-go, and like people just like, knock on wood, I don't want people to like get into this years later. I want this to be my real standout record, that what's the word for it, my breakthrough.
Your debut.
This is supposed to be my debut or breakthrough record. So that's why I'm interested in some of these people's offers, because I would like some help blasting the audience of it. So but we'll see what happens after I do some shows and get everything moving.
Yeah. It's definitely, the industry has taken a weird toll, and especially I always talk about it with bands, that it's the underground community is going to build, like, there's the major industry that we always know, the mainstream, and then this underground community that's slowly building, because we have the independents, as where the major industry was hit so fucking hard by COVID that they literally
there's no middle class in music anymore.
Exactly, right? So, and I think the underground is gonna be the next thing. Like, I think there's gonna be two different industries, and you're gonna have the mainstream industry, which is what they're fed, and then the people who are hungry for genuine music. I always say the mainstream is McDonald's music, you know what I mean? It's got no sustenance to it. It's just what you're fed.
It's made in a factory.
Yeah.
Just stamped and ready to go for you.
Yeah. And then you've got the underground, which is like fucking steak, potatoes, and veggies. You know what I mean? Like, you can't say no to that for so long. You can only say no for so long before you're like, damn it, I want some real food. So I think that...
Yeah.
I think it's coming. I think it's just after COVID, like, now things are slowly opening up. I think people are going to be like seeing and going out to shows more because they took it for granted.
I trust that it will be coming. I think you're right. I had a buddy say it's gonna be like the Roaring '20s, but the 2020s.
Yep.
Right. There is gonna be a renaissance. That's kind of what regression toward the mean also is. It's going back. It's very extreme. Years of things being extreme one way or another. Before COVID, this happening. That after COVID, you had all that crazy shit that happened with that cop.
Yep. Who
killed the poor dude, and all sorts of racial unjust things happening, and there's always something extreme. So and then in music itself, you talked about the underground versus like McDonald's analogy, and I said, oh, there's no more middle class in music. I'm serious when I say that, like, compared to what I saw the middle class of music as was MySpace. When MySpace was really happening, when MySpace was popping, what would happen is you would have these big industry cats coming to bands and rappers MySpace pages and signing them.
Yep.
Signing them based on, like, because you had, this is before it got all like bombarded with bots, but when MySpace was still just like a lot of real people with a lot of real streams, they were putting, I don't know if you ever heard of Bamboozle, which is a festival in New Jersey. But like Bamboozle is like a Warped Tour style fest.
Yeah.
But like 2 or 3 days in Jersey, and they'll mix like Fall Out Boy will play, but then like some really tough like straight edge hardcore bands will play, and like Method Man and like 303. It's like everything, like 303, like Hot Topic bands, all the way to like Jedi Mind Tricks,
right?
And Method Man and Snoop Dogg headline. So it was like everything in the mix that like young kids and like hipster adults would like, and MySpace was like I said, the middle, bringing all that. So it's like didn't matter, like any kid with like some emo comb over would be like, I like this band, I like that band, I like that band, and and I could see you as that. They put all their shit on an iPod, and everybody, and it's like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, in my day, I understand times are changing, but to be to be real about it, the last time I saw that whole like glorification revival of the underground, where like the underground got so big that the mainstream had no choice
But to
but to
accept it.
recognize and notice it, was during those days of
Yep.
early MySpace to the end of MySpace.
Yeah, it died in about 2010. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
I
yo,
think.
you just said a boat. I finally heard your
Did I?
accent.
Did
Yeah.
I? Nice.
Yo, South Park. South Park is right. You
That's
guys
so
say a
funny.
boat.
About.
No, that's dope.
About.
I had a friend from Canada once, and he would say "a" a lot. He'd be like,
Oh,
"Yo,
I say A
this
all the
place
time.
looks dope, eh?"
No, dude, I say it all the
But
time.
that's sick. What were you gonna
So,
say though? My bad. You were gonna say something about MySpace or
oh, there's like the bands like that time. It died in 2010, and I think it was like Facebook came around 2007, 2008, something like that. It was pretty
Mhm.
new around then. So by the time 2010 hit, um, Facebook had basically destroyed musicians' potential because now, like you
Yeah,
said earlier, like a promoter's gonna look at you and be like, okay, he's got 24,000, he's worth booking, but there could be a dope artist with 150 likes, but they won't book him because he doesn't have thousands and thousands of likes.
yeah, that sucks. That's why I had to follow the rules. See, that's what I'm doing. Uh, I'm conforming a bunch just so that the whole world would take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I remember when I had 100 likes and I was dope, and you should book me, but it just wasn't the game that they play. It wasn't enough, so I had to keep coming and coming. So where it's
Yeah.
like it's undeniable when it's in your face between my and I don't think 25 is really enough yet. I'm trying to get like 1 million followers, right?
Yeah.
But but when you see that blue check mark and you see my image and you see my resume, it's undeniable, and most likely a show promoter will email me and my team back,
Yep.
right? Whereas for if you're just like so and so with a song on SoundCloud, and that's what it is. And I wish it wasn't like that, because like I said, but that's just the rules
Yeah.
I had to follow.
As a hip hop artist, you'll notice that you will adapt more easy because it's yourself. You're not with four other members who you have to
Yeah,
decide this with. Like, you're like, this is my goal, my future. What I think is right, what I feel is right, is what I'm gonna do. And I feel,
it's funny.
oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
my bad.
No, go ahead.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I for years was trying to make Dizasterpiece a band,
Mm-hmm.
and the irony is now I prefer it by myself. But because like I always craved, not that I'm like shy to be alone, but there's a combination of like when I was a younger kid, I didn't like see my potential the way I see it now.
Yeah.
So even though I knew I was talented, like I kind of just felt like it needed a group to really get acknowledged. So I would chase that. And two, most importantly, because I'm a musician, I love doing music as a mission with like a team,
Yeah, me
like
too.
not in like a hip hop sense, but a band sense. Like my favorite band ever is Deftones.
Fuck
My
yes.
second favorite band ever is Glassjaw. And I wanted to do something like that, like little heavy, not too heavy, catchy singing. So and tour all over. Every time I started a band to like make that my career, people would fall through or disappoint me, or like I'd find the right guys. There's one time I made Dizasterpiece a full band, and it still sounded the same. Sounded still, it like looked like you were about to watch Korn or Limp Bizkit, but still sounded like Wu Tang or
Mm-hmm.
Dell or MF Doom. And it was very interesting. I had a DJ. I brought like 5 guys on tour, and it was a whole band, the whole thing, the DJ, the
That's so
guitarist,
sick.
jumping. But it was still hip hop. They were just lightly playing.
Mm-hmm.
We would play the songs out of the PA system in the practice room, and the drummer would use headphones, and they would keep time and play with it, and it was cool. But even like we had an argument on tour, they wound up leaving me on the road. Without airing any of that drama, my point
Yeah.
is like it just never really worked out with Dizasterpiece being a band or any band over the years, because I've been doing Dizasterpiece for 8 years. I've been in a shit ton of bands since I started Dizasterpiece,
Yeah.
like side projects, but they fell through. And I hope everybody in those things was well. But the indication I was trying to get I think that I got from the universe is that God or the universe or like my destiny
Mm-hmm.
does not want me, at least at this time, to be
In a
in a
group.
group with people, and they want me to be solo. And now it's so weird because like now I don't want to work with anyone.
Yeah.
Now it's like all of a sudden I love that I have this thing,
It's
especially
freedom, and
during
it's you.
COVID. We don't have to, yeah, I didn't have to like bands had to pull on gear off,
Mm-hmm.
and stop paying the rent for the practice rooms
Yeah.
and all sorts of shit. And for me, I'm just like, yo, you just got to worry about myself. So I'm fortunate that I always had this to fall back on. And now it's not a fallback thing. It's my main passion. I am completely passionate about Dizasterpiece again,
Yeah.
like when I started it.
It's funny because I've been actually wanting to get back into hip hop, but I'm debating whether or not I want to do my beats again, or if I want to just like team up with a producer and simply do hip hop, just straight boom bap. Because I know a bunch, but
Yeah.
I have an obsession with making beats. It's so fun. But
Then you should.
but being a musician, you tend to add instruments. I find I do at least. I had like, oh cool, I could
Yeah.
put a mandolin here and a guitar here, and you're like, whoa, fuck, this sounds like ridiculous.
Especially if like you're like a prog dude, like I said, like I've played in like mathcore bands where we switch time signatures all the time, and I used
Right?
to like be obsessed with Dillinger Escape Plan
Fuck
and
yeah.
uh the number 12 looks like you and all those like weird fake grindcore bands. uh I love that shit. So it was when I was younger, it was harder for me to do what you just said, to
Mm-hmm.
like I make a hip hop beat, and instead of focusing on like, oh, it's gonna make people dance or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
does it sound good? I was like, it needs this part, it needs this bass line, gotta add this, that, and
It's
I
gotta
was
have a
right.
bridge and a breakdown.
All that shit is correct, but you forget that like average non-music people don't care. So as I got older, I actually did start. I finally was able to apply the less is more.
Yeah.
Because you hear that your whole life,
You
but like
really
I
do.
learned what that is to do it when I write,
Yeah.
and it's cool. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. That's one thing that I've just learned. Like even with my band, because our
Mhm.
band is we're I don't even know how to describe us. We like to just say it's melodic metalcore, because our lead
Okay.
guitar player is like super phenomenal. Dude shreds, and he writes the most like weird rhythms and leads that you'll ever
Yeah.
hear. And then the band itself is like Jake and Andy are solid as rhythm section, and then Norman, I'm pretty sure is in the comments. He's our bassist, and he plays some funky fucking bass lines for metal. You know what I mean? So I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
Norman and Andy are fucking vibing right now. Okay, this is gonna be a hip hop part. So it's cool that I can break that down and I get to express it, because like being in a metal band, you can't express the amount of information you can in hip hop. Like I can spit
Yeah.
fucking 100 bars and give you 10 years of information, but I can't do that in a rock song without doing it in metaphor.
Fair enough. Yeah. Uh, because when I listen to metal, I like my metal heavy. I like my
Mm-hmm.
metal all screaming
Yep.
like the whole time. So it why would you, if you had all these dope lyrics, say them clearly when you're metal? Because that kills the whole point, the approach.
Yeah, it's
So
cool
it,
because
it is.
I will actually put the screams in my rap. So I'll be like, you know how you get that tension going and you're building up, and you hit those
Yeah.
points and you're hitting those jabs? I'll hit those
Yeah.
jabs with a scream or a little bit of grime from my throat. So you're like, ooh, just it emphasizes, right?
That's why mixed genre is the shit.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being able to mix, because then you have freedom to show off your really your lyricist
And I think that's what made me fall
ability.
in love with your music right away. Within like two
Thank you.
songs was just like, man, this dude he doesn't hold back. He's not like, I'm gonna fucking have one way or another. It's if I want to scream right here, I want to get grimy, I want to get gritty and do some weird voices. Like fuck it.
Yeah.
So it,
I love to be uh unpredictable and authentic.
mm-hmm.
There's I'm not saying that I'm the most original, authentic guy, but when you do, when you are blatantly authentic and original, anybody, a lot of people from all over the world, they'll find you and be like, I immediately like this guy, and press follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it stands out. Or you could be saturated and they'll just scroll past you. So it's cool when
Yeah.
new people and more new people tell me, this is why I got into music. That's why I got into music. I'll be like, okay, there you go. Everything that you thought you should do was right. Because
Yeah.
look at so fuck this person and
Oh
that
man,
person. You know what you do,
projection.
and
What you said earlier
yeah,
about projection, it's key. Like I started
yeah,
Enigma in February, just as
yeah.
like, oh, okay, well maybe I can interview bands and do something.
Hmm.
And in the 5 months that I've had it going, I've almost hit 1,000 followers, done almost 70 interviews. I have a merch line. Like it just kind of just grew, and I have no clue what
That's
the fuck
big for
happened. But
5 months, bro. A
right,
thousand followers
and
is
it
big for five
and it's
months.
just like I the projection, like constantly thinking like this is what I want, this is where I'm gonna get it, this is the level I want it to, and then just working day to day with that in my mind has definitely helped me. And I think that that's what most people don't do with their careers, and that's why I think when you said projection is key, because I'm like that's why you're making it so good. It's because you're projecting to the universe what you
Yeah.
want.
Yes, that is yeah that plays into it heavily. And also paying attention to what people like the commonly said things, doing more of it. Because like okay, here's one like you said, oh, you sound like Dell, right? A lot of people have said that to me, but a lot of people also say, like I said, like Cypress Hill,
Mm-hmm.
Helter Skelter. You know, people will be like, they'll say like Beastie Boys mixed with Limp Bizkit.
See,
Also,
it's all
it's always
classics
this.
though. I think
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
they're
saying.
relating it to, is that you have that vibe of that'll last forever. It's not like
Thank
a
you.
3 year span of fame, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna come
Yes,
slowly, but when it comes, it's gonna last. You know what I mean?
because
And
I'm aiming for longevity
yeah, and I think
too.
you see
So
that.
I see, and so when people tell me this shit, I just know that all I have to do is keep swinging at the ball the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like and you know, there's people who sometimes try to be authentic and original, uh, but it comes out in the wrong angle because I see like a lot of these new rappers getting super creative with their image. This hair is red, this hair is green, and this and that, and like bringing back
Yeah.
cool. Okay, I'm not really about that. I kind of keep it traditional hip hop, the way I dress with my stage persona,
Mm-hmm.
my presence. But how come you can't steer that drive to like look different and like almost go out of your way to look like a weirdo sometimes? Why can't you just
Yeah.
bring that here and use that how you write your songs? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Yeah. I tend to like. I mean,
because that's what matters.
I'm wearing a company shirt and sweatpants. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of how I am. And when I'm on stage, like
Yeah.
I'll wear the same shit. But
Yo,
my
image, because image is important. I used to care less about image when I
mm-hmm.
was like more, when I was like a young hardcore kid.
Yeah.
Uh, I cared less about image because it was a thing in the scene to hate on pop stars, which is still understandable. But the more I started playing for other audiences who know nothing about punk or metal, like we discussed earlier, the more I realized how essential it was to care about like how I look, because those are still heads that you need. They're gonna pay for your merch and shit, get you booked again. You want to come up with any way you can have people remember you and have them fuck with you. So I started paying more attention to my image a little later on, and that's when I got a little bit more heavily tattooed,
Mm-hmm.
or became like a sneakerhead for a minute. But you're not supposed to go take the whole image thing and like make that the whole
Your whole
main
thing.
drive and
Yeah.
focus, right? That, you know, so it's like first and foremost, like you not knowing me, hearing about me from Eric, what are you gonna really decide if you want to put me on your show with or not? You're gonna
Yeah.
fucking
Eric told me hip
look
hop.
at pictures of me all day,
You know.
or are you gonna
Yeah.
listen
Eric
to my
told me hip
music?
hop, and the first thing I went to was your Spotify. I looked you up, listened to two songs, and I was like, "Hey, he genuinely has skill. It's not just a guy that I rap and he can't fucking hit time. He can't
Yeah,
hit punch notes. You know what I mean? Like
thank
there's
you.
certain things like coming from a hip hop background and a hip hop lover that I'm like I'm very like bands. I'll let any band on because I want to help them. Hip hop artists,
Yeah,
you got to prove to me that you're fucking worth it because I
well, I'm
myself
flattered, bro.
I dedicated 6 years of my
Thank you.
life to hip hop, so I know what a talented artist is. You know what I mean? Like I spent
Yeah,
hundreds of hours dedicating just sitting in front of a computer rewriting lyrics and learning how to do fucking double time, and the amount of time I put in, it's like learning an instrument, so you
it
have to be
is.
dedicated.
It's for sure. Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad that
Oh
you
dude, so good.
thought it was good enough to bring it onto your show. Uh, And like, I really think you're gonna like this new record if you like the stuff that's out already,
Oh,
dog.
dude. Yeah, no, I'm
It's
super
really
stoked. Because I haven't actually found hip hop that I
uh
enjoyed that was underground since Mercules and Snack. Those were the last two that I was genuinely like, okay, like I'm cool with these guys. And
well,
they're pretty big now, which is cool because they're both from BC, so they're both like from Vancouver, which isn't too far away from me, but they like,
yo, Vancouver seems fucking dope. I would
oh,
love to
dude.
fucking. I know I said it earlier, but I gotta get out there.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. No, like I've got tons of friends down there that do hip hop. Like I'm pretty sure Emotions is down there, and he used to be on the East
Mm.
Coast. And Emotions is like in the battle scene, he used to be pretty big, and
Oh
he's an
yeah.
amazing beatboxer, producer. Like dude's just so awesome. And then you have like Snack and Merc. Like Snack blew up, and Mercules blew up. Like I don't even know how within a year or two they were from like super underground doing kind of smaller shows to like now they're hanging out with Onyx on a daily basis.
That's pretty dope. I love Onyx.
Right? Like fucking growing up listening to Onyx while he was spray painting to
Yeah.
now performing songs with them. That
Yo,
that's fucking beautiful to see, right? Because that's like those are BC boys in my mind, and I think that
that's sick.
hip hop artists they grind the hardest. Like I don't care what any band says. I think that's why I've pushed so hard with our
You
band
think
is
so?
coming from a hip hop background. Is you have to push. There's it's all about image. It's all about presentation. Like you can literally have no fans on Facebook, make an email, and get booked for shows on how you present
I know.
yourself.
Yeah, basically, are people gonna take you seriously or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what it is. Like I conduct myself, and it's like too. You get caught up, and people expect different personas from you, right? Sometimes I'm not gonna. Sometimes I gotta be gangster as fuck with this person, but sometimes I'm not gonna be hard at all.
Yeah.
With this person, I'm gonna be like act like a 50-year-old dad when I
Yeah.
speak to this person, because all of it's me, but I am flexible because you have to grind so hard. You have to grind the hardest, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You become multi-dimensional,
Yeah.
Versatile. I've been around playing shows. I've met all sorts of people, and I know how to talk to different people, and that's essential because I'm running. It's not just my music. It's not just my art. It's a brand.
Yep.
Now, it's a business. With all the money and promotion I've dropped, or like how much my page is probably worth if I tried to
Yep.
sell it, which I would never, because it's verified. But it's a brand. There's all sorts of people. I forget, like one day if I'm in a bad mood and I pop off on someone, I forget my manager will be like, yo, all sorts of people wear your shirt
Yeah.
with your face on it, so don't do anything too
Yeah.
stupid.
No, when I
And
met Gabe, that was a big thing that hit me when we signed with AMG. Is there
oh
are,
yeah,
but I've also been dealing with like a course to help me not be such an asshole, I guess to easily
yeah,
say. And I used to fucking rant on Facebook all the time. Like I'd have like political rants where I put my
that stuff
perspective.
has to come out one way or another, right?
Yeah, but right, and then I
Even if
realized like
you're
you
right.
can't do that on Facebook because I was losing fans and people would look at me
That's
differently.
what I'm saying.
If you put it in your music, no
Even
one
if
gives
you
a
know
shit.
you're right, like
Yeah.
you could. Being cordial is the thing. I had a mentor in the business tell me the word is nicety.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a dick. You don't know. I don't know who knows who I am anymore. It's great. That's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if someone recognizes me or they see me live, or if they don't know who I am at all, but like to be like, oh, you look like Mac Miller mixed with Fred Durst, or some people be all kinds, or just be like, oh, I like your tattoos, bro. It's all good because the attention's good to work with to get my name out further. But because of that, everything has to stay even keeled,
Mm-hmm.
and cordial. Because I don't want to be a dick to somebody. I also don't want to be a pushover.
Yep.
I don't want to be like people think I'm a pussy or anything. And it's not so much about what they think, but you are 24/7 business,
Yep.
walking around and maneuvering. So it has to be clock in, clock out in a heartbeat, and you leave with like a medium neutral transaction where like the person doesn't have to either say I like him, I dislike him. Like Dizasterpiece, and then the name just continues to flourish instead of and the best way to do that is like I stay out of politics.
Yep.
And I stay out even unless I really need to say something, I try my best because
I'm
it's a
totally
business.
one of those controversial people. Like those people who are like will bring up topics in their songs that are like, oh fuck, I didn't like, oh damn. Like Tom McDonald almost, you know what I mean? Like I like to hit on topics that will make people think. And I think that's also what I do in my rap or my metal band, but I don't do it on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I feel like Tom McDonald is a risky situation for
Right?
himself. Name
Yeah. He's a
and
BC boy too. He's from Vancouver as well.
really, he's
Yeah.
from. I just actually I saw that today. I didn't know he's from Canada.
Yeah.
I said, wow, more Canadians because I knew I was jumping on
Yeah,
with you.
he's very controversial, but I think that
He's
that's
controversial. I wouldn't be able to do
what he
the
does.
kind of shit he does. First of all, because I don't agree with some of the things he says,
Yep.
but some of the other things he says, I do. That's the thing too. It's like you don't have to be war on liberals, war on conservatives,
Yep.
back and forth. Why not? You know, but Tom McDonald's right about some things he says, and then some other shit he says, I'd be like, whoa, I would never fucking say that
Yeah.
in a song or two people.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, uh, I enjoy. I'm a rapper for the people, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm your savior. I'm gonna do it better than Tom McDonald. But I, what I said earlier a few minutes ago of how like I dig that I have such a diverse fan base. Like I said, between like these fat goth kids and this sorority chick, this blonde college skinny girl, and this music nerd in Canada, and
Hell
this
yeah.
fucking gangster, you know, like gangster Crips and Bloods, like yo, I fuck with you, Dizasterpiece. That's such a cool mix of people that would never ever hang out,
Right.
you know, and liberals, you know, and like white Republicans in their 50s like my music. Point is, I get a kick out of being a uniter, not a divider. So, you know, whether people think they should say this or that, maybe, maybe not. But for me, I'm an entertainer who likes to speak this truth. The most important part is that you feel good. You feel like you relate to something when you listen to me. So I keep all that out because all that is just gates and boundaries
Mm-hmm.
from millions of people that can come together because they feel the same way. That's the most
Yeah.
important part, right?
Yeah. No, it's pretty insane how the online community can take something and run with it so dramatically nowadays that it is
Yeah,
almost hard
I get
to
really.
say anything and have an opinion.
I gotta plug my phone real
Oh,
quick.
no worries, bro.
Uh, so you know, I look another thing. I try to flip perspectives on myself too, because like I talk a lot of shit on people that are totally okay with like I'll make posts sometimes on my personal Facebook that like I wanted to write the other day like find somebody arguing about politics on Facebook and throw a dirty diaper at their face, just fuck people, right? And it's because I'm on this like
Hell
wave
yeah.
of like find somebody arguing about not never mind what they're arguing about,
Just
but if you
arguing.
see somebody fighting about politics, punch their face, right? And I'm not, you know, it doesn't really, but it's like because I talk shit on people that are like busy on the internet talking shit. I don't like that because
Yeah.
there's many more things you could do. But what was I gonna say about that? It's more so I tried to unbiasedly flip that perspective because my life's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
I get to play shows. I have a fan base. You know, I have supportive friends and family. Fortunately, these days, uh, and I've just come to terms now that I'm getting more of what I want. That I have a privileged, cool life. I'm not married. I don't have kids. Bunch of people I went to high school with getting married, having kids, right? So I think I could think it's so simple to not go on the internet and talk shit and fight. You know, just go do this or that. But I always had here it is. I always had my outlet. I always had a microphone. I
Mm-hmm.
always had a stage.
Yep.
So not just before I was an MC, I was still an MC because I started my first metal band when I was 10.
Yep.
So I always had shows and a stage and a mic, and even if you know even if it was few supporters at one time, there's always somebody interested in what I had to say.
Yep.
So some of these people that don't have the same lifestyle or the same talent, that's their only way. That's the only time they'll have the microphone and be on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So now I kind of get it, but I wish society could find a less toxic, less consuming way to get that energy out.
Yeah. I definitely agree. If there was anything in the music industry that you could change, what do you think it would be?
Wow. I think that people that because you've seen them do this, I think the industry Just start signing people that are unique and talented again, and you can make pop star money off of that. Like, there's a way to blend it. I'd like to blend it the same way. This is a weird analogy for me to compare myself to Nirvana, but the same way Nirvana blended it, like with Smells Like Teen Spirit, that's not a bad song. Are you tired of hearing it? Maybe. A lot of people think that that's Nirvana's worst song,
Mm-hmm.
but that song was a good song when it came out, and it sounds good. It's catchy and it's simple, but it's not punk.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and there's a way, like, just like how everything that was taboo in music, they found a medium to do it. Like when it was taboo just to do Run DMC mixed with Aerosmith,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there's always a way. There's always a way to put it in to put, to get cursing on the radio a little bit more and more. And it's come to this point where, like, the most hardest of shit that kids should not be hearing is on the radio, talking about Xanax and Percocet,
Yeah.
whatever. When people gave Eminem such a problem. But my point is, like, there's a commercial way to package music, because it's not art anymore, it's product.
Yep.
After that, to package the art into product and make it have the mass audience consumer potential, right? And
Yeah.
not have it be bullshit. So I wish the industry would start signing more people that were like, this is fresh, this is a breath of fresh air and authentic, and still, and putting them on the radio. Like when Blink went at you, because you brought up Travis. Did you bring up Travis Barker
Yeah.
earlier?
Yeah.
Travis Barker, I was watching his MTV Cribs episode.
Right. This episode's insane. Oh,
Somebody
there we are.
in a different, I went to a different YouTube video after, and the person the leading the video was like said that Travis Barker was punk rock's first superstar drummer. Travis Barker is a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Durst was a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you bring elements of the punk and underground influence through the mainstream, through the TV,
Yeah.
through the radio. And I would like to see the industry bringing, again, the underground back out through the mainstream, even if it's not the biggest thing, because it's not going to outsell this or that. When that shit was coming out, when Blink-182 got big and Limp Bizkit got big and Korn got big on TRL, they were competing with the Backstreet Boys.
Yep.
And NSYNC. But I even heard Korn at one point have the same manager as the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
So you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see that? So Korn, when they came out, people were like, what the fuck is this? This would never get big. And they eventually have the same manager as the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Why not other new people that are dope, that are doing something a little bit different? That's what I like to see. And more fests. More kids that are 10 years old that want to go do that and look like that. Like how I felt when I first discovered music.
Right. That's one thing I always talk about is all ages events need to be brought back.
That too. The youth is essential. The youth is what music will stand out to the most.
Mm-hmm.
They have free time. They have their school and their relationship with people at home, and they're trying to figure out who they are, and they feel a lot of things. The most best feeling thing for me when I was like lost and like I don't want to go to school today, but I don't want to stay home with my parents. This sucks. Music would come in and take it, and nothing fucking mattered. And as long as I had my headphones, it was good. And just that release, I want the same release chemistry for the next generation, like an artist who stands out, who's authentic and not bullshit. And the young kids are like, this is what I need. I don't care if my parents make me do this or that. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have this, as long as I had my Limp Bizkit record, or like when I got into punk, No Effects and Pennywise and
Fuck
shit,
yeah.
then that's all I needed. And then when I got into hip hop, all I needed was a microphone and a pen and a pad. And that creativity, that mojo that shit inspires goes a long way. It took me, before I was trying to become a superstar, those elements are what saved my life or made me believe in myself at other points. Lyrics and shit that kept me moving. You know?
Hell yeah. No, 100%. I think music is the only reason I'm still here. Now my daughter, but before that it was just music. If I
Exactly.
wasn't a musician, I probably would not have been past like 13 years old.
That's what I'm saying. And some people be like, "What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
This sounds like you're depressed."
Oh hell yeah.
Well, it's also crazy that music is what fixed that up. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy too? Music
Music
is
is
like what.
the universal language.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. That's why it should be. There shouldn't be so much division and subgenre
Mm-hmm.
scrutinizing, and that's why I'm going for like a mass appeal. Like, yo, I would, like I said a bunch on this interview, I would love to come to Canada, but like I would love to go play Israel.
Right. That
I
would
would
be
love to go
sweet.
play. I would love to play in the Middle East. It's like, is it that hard to?
Well, the Middle
Uh,
East, I know there's a band out there that played metal, and they literally were about to get like killed, like publicly
I
executed.
saw, I saw that news
So, right? They
article.
had to
They were
like piece
from,
the fuck out and go to a different
they were,
country.
I think they were from Iran.
Yeah, like that's
Uh,
scary. Like that's like it's
but
2020 and like they can't even play metal.
that's fucked up. But that's why I said Israel first, because I know for a fact there's a hardcore scene in
Oh fuck
Israel.
yeah.
I've been to Israel.
Oh,
Uh,
dope.
yeah, but I know for a fact that I'd be able to go play a Dizasterpiece show in Israel, and that people would dig it. And that's a place I like it. Everybody has all different opinions on politics in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Can I, as an entertainer, unbiasedly go to the Middle East and play for people to enjoy it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
think
an
you can.
entertainer. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's how I see myself as a diplomat,
Yeah.
sort of, in these situations where I don't give a fuck about this or that. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to unite you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You come in to all these different places that have this and that going on, and these people beefing, and I'm just here like, yo, what's up? Who wants to party? Who wants to jump around? Who wants to feel good?
Yeah.
That's why music is a universal language, because it doesn't have to take a side or opinion. It makes you feel like you're not alone, like you could relate, and then you want to try. You're like, that looks dope. I don't know if I could ever become as good as this band or that drummer, but I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
Before you know it, you're dope at drums. So whereas
true.
for when last thing I was gonna say that pertains to that is when you have a lot of oversaturated shit that sounds the same, and like the same trap drums with the same triplets in the hi-hat,
Yeah.
the same trap beat over. Yeah, because people are like, oh, I know trap's not that good, or I know like the mumble rap, this or that, but I like the production. I listen to it for the production. Well, the production on a lot of it is kind of the same shit sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's oversaturated, and the thing is like, whatever. Like, I'm trying to be mature. Like, if you like that, fine.
Yeah.
But how is that the scenario I just gave with the universal language and kids falling in love with it and like saving you from depression? The fuck is that same shit supposed to? How does that do that for a kid? He
Yeah.
wants to. It's still cool to him. Like, oh, yo, I want to get face tats like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You still could think it's cool, but uh, it's okay. Here, we're gonna tie it together. It's their McDonald's. That's the Happy Meal. McDonald's
Yep.
Happy Meal for those kids. I like McDonald's sometimes too, but I don't remember the last time I ate McDonald's. McDonald's tastes amazing, but I haven't eaten it a long time because I don't want McDonald's. I don't want to consume McDonald's. That's kind of like their McDonald's. I wish we could put something better on their plate, mass audience marketed. Like I said, when Corn was on MTV, now these kids see it. I would have not seen Corn.
How did we
I
go
would have
from
not
the
seen Corn.
Beatles to that dude who's the fucking twerking in front of the devil? You know what I mean?
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that you said it like that. Little Nas X.
Yeah, I think
it?
so. I have no clue.
First of all, take Nas out of your name.
Yeah, please, because dude, that's insulting. I've always fucking thought that too. I'm like, dude, why did you even put Nas in your name? Like, that's an insult.
And it's hard to, like, when you speak out against that shit. Like, I said something on Facebook once, and I'm trying to be professional, but I said something once about Cardi B, and I said something about Cardi B, and I almost want to say something about Lil Nas X, and people like will think you're making an anti-feminist statement or an anti-homophobic. It's not about that. Be what you are.
Yeah.
Yo, I love all kinds of people. Be what you are.
Hell yeah.
But like, there's too much emphasis on shit that doesn't have to do with talented music.
Yeah.
There's emphasis, the ass shaking and this or that, and then just why can't you make a quality song? Make a quality song for people that's not gonna be trash.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it drives me nuts. I think that what's being pushed right now in the in the industry where they're talking about like you said earlier, Xanax and doing all this shit, and there's like 9-year-old kids and younger that are listening to this. I'm like, is this really the society you want to create in the future? You know what I mean?
You know how
Like,
bad? Yeah, I just tell you, like, I've done a fair share of all that stuff you just
mhm.
mentioned. It's lit, and then until it's not. I, that stuff's not good for your brain.
No.
Whoever parties, party. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, everybody grows up at one point and eventually finds out about drugs and tries them.
Yeah.
Right? Uh, why open the door early on people that should not be hearing about what Xanax and Coke and unprotected sex? And I don't mean to sound like a church mother,
No.
like,
You're an
but
adult. There's a difference between that. That's
yeah,
an adult
look, because
view.
yeah, it's an adult view. I don't think because I used to when I was a kid,
Hmm.
I specifically I could tell you one time, my mother took me. I don't know if you remember the CD store Sam Goody. It's a CD store, and it
No,
was
but
it
I
was at the
remember
mall in
CD
Jersey.
stores.
Okay, so my mom took me to the CD store. I was really young, and I was looking for. I don't know if it was a new. I don't know if it was the Offspring. It was one of those, the Offspring or Korn or Limp Bizkit. I was like waiting for the new CD to come out. And I didn't have the internet. I was young. I didn't have a computer. I had to I saw advertisements at the store. I
Yeah.
was trying to see if it came out. And this guy at the register kept going on a rant to my mother, like, I bet he loves wrestling was big at the time, the
Hell yeah.
Attitude Era. I bet he loves wrestling, this or that. And she's like, yeah, he loves wrestling, and he should not be. And in my head, I was like, fuck this guy. I was like 9. I was
Hmm.
like, fuck this guy, trying to censor me, trying to tell me he thinks I don't know shit because I'm a little kid, and he's trying to tell me what I should listen to. So I'm not trying to be like an old man version of that, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that because I'm not saying that kids shouldn't hear the F word and they shouldn't hear this or that, but like the drug use part of it
Hmm.
uh is too much for a kid. Like he's gonna want to see what you're talking about.
Yeah. They're just too.
You
They're
know,
too curious. And at a
I
certain
just
age,
tell you,
like even
rap
me.
used to make. I used to say I can't wait to try weed.
Yeah.
I used to say
One
when
hundred
I would
percent,
listen
dude.
to
20 years later.
it. Yep. So, because in whatever, like, but I couldn't listen to Snoop Dogg or The Chronic when I was 9 or 10 or 11 without being like, yo, I can't wait till I'm grown up
Right.
so I can smoke as much weed as I want. So keep it at weed at least, and not talk
Literally.
about
Yeah.
these addictive,
If
really
if
addictive shit.
if I didn't buy Dr. Dre's 2001,
Mm.
I probably wouldn't have started smoking weed as early as I did.
That's what
It
I'm.
just
That's what
seems
I'm saying.
so fucking badass. You're like, yeah, like I never got into drinking big, but weed was always like
Yeah.
something that I wanted because of the music I listened to. So
I'm not really that big into drinking either.
yeah,
I don't like alcohol
no,
either.
I'm not a big
For
fan of
reason.
it. I think it's like I'm on like 7 years of like not hard drinking, maybe a little bit longer.
Really
Yeah, like I'll have
nice.
a drink every now and then, but it's usually like a glass of wine at dinner.
That's what's that's cool. A lot of people like want to go out and get trashed.
Hmm.
Whatever your vice is whatever your vice is.
Yeah,
And it's me. Like
everyone's got
I don't
one.
want to get too much. I don't want to get too specific on an interview, but
Oh man, some
somehow
people's vices are working out, right? Like everyone's got something.
they work. Their vice, your work. People will judge you, but your vices work for you. Now, I
Hmm.
never liked alcohol, but there's all sorts of other things that I tried that I liked, which is why I'm saying that. That's how I know firsthand what I don't want these kids hearing this shit.
Exactly.
In these songs because other shit is dope until it's not dope, and then you have
Hmm.
some problems here or there, and people do what you want, but it's interesting being a rapper who does I party, I'm very social, but I just don't like alcohol,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm trying not to touch anymore this and this and this. The fuck do I do? And
Yeah.
it's like I don't something. There's just we have such different brain chemistry,
Mhm.
everybody, that it's like you prefer this, but I hate this. But that's what I'm saying. Well, hip hop in general is going to bring you to an area on the radius
Yep.
that is not good for children or pure audiences. That's why I'm not trying to sound like a bitch. Oh, don't say this or that. But no matter what, a young kid who listens to hip hop, he's gonna know about this, and that now.
Yep.
He's gonna know sexual things he never thought about that are more intricate, like eating booty or something. But I just don't. Oh, here's a good middle way to cap this conversation off.
Yeah.
I just don't think there should be so much main focus and emphasis on those toxic things. Can't you, even if you have an artist that talks about it, why do you have the main hit single that's on the radio? That you're rewarding it too much. You're rewarding the toxic too much. You have these people, these major selling artists, Billboard chart topping artists.
Yeah.
They have so many different songs and different streams. Why did you and your label and your brand pick this one? Because it controls people, and now everybody's fucking tuning into the same bullshit frequency with the same beat. That's listen to the same toxic message. They want that because that's what keeps the cycle going. Where rock and roll, because hip hop could be rock and roll, because to me rock and roll just shakes it up.
Yeah.
I think there's this mission. I don't know. I'm gonna get killed for saying this on camera, but somebody is on a crusade to go against rock and roll, to never allow rock and roll to happen again.
Yep.
Because rock and roll
I say it all the time.
Really, because rock and roll is the
unites. Like, look at Woodstock. They are terrified of Woodstock again.
And it shakes it up.
Yeah.
It is the reaction. That's the thing. It's like rock. Think about it like this, because like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever get big doing real hip hop. You can't think like that, because the first few rock and roll bands and metal bands, nobody, you guys are crazy if you think the radio will play this.
Yep.
Nobody's ever gonna buy this. Kiss. What do you think people thought of Kiss?
Right.
When they were new, right? And the Beatles, but it always was a success. It was the rebel. You don't think about it now because Beatles are so big, but the rebellion was it was Elvis.
Their
the
hair
Beatles
was rebellious.
Just like how the first original MCs of hip hop is rebellious. That wasn't a mainstream thing.
No.
It's like Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, way before, way after, everything like that. It's like the hard driven, pure, passionate reaction to this, that, and the third going on. When you have you call it hip hop or whatever you want to call it, but when you have the same frequency, never mind your taste or preference, but if it's the same, there is literally nothing shaking up the shit to awake people. Yeah. And that's why I think there's just something bigger that goes on, without sounding like such a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
And
no, I totally get it.
I'm not even going to speak out much about it because I want to be let in. I'm trying to just let me in to that pop culture, and I'll play along with the rules. But it's kind of sad, and I'm willing to dance around in that realm as long as I get big and have more people just like you that like my shit, because I think, like I said, there's mass audience potential for what I do. Yep. Doesn't matter if it's real hip hop and nobody likes real hip hop anymore, whatever people want to say. There's pop. I've been told by people in the industry, like, you have like pop star appeal, but I'm such a hardcore kid, such intertwined into the world of skateboarding and BMX and hardcore and metal and shit that I'm not even supposed to know, like anime. I have friends, like all sorts of friends into different shit. It would be great to be a pop star and bring all these underground elements back on top.
Right. So
you have all these kids that are first discovering shit, a new generation that is like when you and me were growing up. Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah. No, I always say that that fangirl mentality of bands is dead. You know what I mean? Because there's so much out there that you don't even fall in love with a band anymore. And that's kind of why we started Enigma, was to like get people to know the bands, you know, like what their struggles, what they've actually put in, what they've lost to get to where they are. And that alone makes people more connected to the artist. Then they like them more. So it's a nice break from like a typical interview where, well, tell me your influences. Tell me what was your biggest show you ever did.
I can imagine it getting played out. I haven't seen too many more of your other interviews, but it probably gets cut. I'm not talking shit to whoever's watching, but anything in music gets played out because there's so many people doing it, and they're kind of just aimlessly roaming along without that drive that someone like you, because what you do is different than me. I don't know your side of it, right? So it's like I'm glad that somebody like me gets your side. Like you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Because
Yeah.
then it's not just work anymore. Then it's like, oh, I'm excited to interview this guy, and this is why you started in the first place,
Yeah.
because you love music. So
I love seeing and helping the underground. I've always been a promoter. Like I've put on shows forever. I had a record label when I was like
wow.
21 to 24, and I managed 9 artists. And I failed miserably because I was young, stupid, and I had a huge ego at like halfway through it because I was starting to open up for some big artists, and I was like, okay, well I'm the shit.
Yeah,
In reality, now I
yeah.
look back at myself and I'm like, that if I could see myself now, I would have slapped myself back then in the face and been like, appreciate the people you're around, you
I
know?
still
So
stand by that. The ego is essential, but you got to
mhm.
get smacked up a little bit.
Yeah,
Like
and
I said,
that's I think losing
a little
everything
bit,
because of
so
it
you know
is a
when to
good
turn it
lesson.
on and off.
Yeah.
You have to be selective sometimes, even though you've been on this reign of being the man here and being the man, and everybody's sucking your.
It can be
You know,
taken
I'm not.
away in a heartbeat.
It can be taken away, but B, sometimes I gotta like take a bullet and like just let somebody win there and then, because
Mhm.
like there's all these little side missions, these games that are trying to pull you into this, and you got to keep going this way,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's just like basically shit, being a man kind of shit, but it's like I've come such a long way from like nobody cares and they just disrespect you to
Mhm.
like people idolizing me and like signing autographs,
Yeah.
that I have very very little tolerance for it to ever drift back this way.
Yeah.
When someone does, I smack them up like, what'd you say, blah blah blah, you look my shit up. If and like some people on the internet who don't know me type talk shit, will
Mhm.
apologize. I put them in check.
Yeah.
But uh the ego too much in that way is gonna smack. You get smacked up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, but it's a
Yeah.
balance. Being a master of ceremonies,
Everything's in
it's
moderation, right?
yeah, and to control, to be
Mhm.
an MC, master of ceremonies, and like control the room during your set. Coming in, I might come in a good mood or a bad mood. The audience is different all the time.
Mhm.
Like if I'm in a good mood in the van, and then there's kids online excited to see me, and I sell some hoodies before I go on. Yo, what up? Go on with good energy.
Mhm.
Right, the next day, I didn't make good time. Say I had plans with some chick in that city.
Mhm.
She cancels.
Yeah.
Uh, say the promoter's not gonna pay me what I thought I was gonna get paid. My energy's kind of negative,
Yeah.
so I get on stage, what up, and I bring that. So what I'm trying to say is I can't fake the funk with this shit. I have to naturally be what I am
Mhm.
and how I feel, and I shouldn't try to protect or pretend, sugarcoat what's gonna come out. But the key is immediately shifting, right?
Yeah.
Because you come in. I try to treat my social reactions with people, especially my business reactions, the same way I would treat a room of people on the mic, paying attention, seeing like, try it like this, try it like that. Get people interested without forcing them to get interested. Because even if people bow to me, you can't force somebody to bow to you. That's the thing. You gotta have people be like, "Oh wow,
Mhm.
I like what you do," instead of like, "Do you know who I am?" Blah blah blah. That's
Yeah.
not gonna work.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying. Ego is still essential though, but you got to do it the right way.
It is definitely essential in the aspect of keeping yourself safe in the hip hop industry
Yes,
and the music industry.
keep yourself safe. Good way to put it.
Yeah, because you have to be able to, like, that's what I was saying earlier, like, metalheads put on the black clothes and the spikes and they got the long hair and they look mean,
Yeah,
but that's what they have to do to defend themselves because most of the time, metalheads are the guys who got picked on. So a lot of the time, metalheads are very self conscious people. You know what I mean? And hip hop,
yeah. That's the thing. Their one outlet to finally get those emotions out,
yeah.
right?
And in hip hop, it's very, a lot of people go into hip hop thinking that they're going to be popular right away. So they have an ego right
Yeah.
at the beginning, and then they have to slowly let it die, I think. I definitely think that that's a main focus at the beginning is ego and how people react to certain situations when it's presented to them.
Are you? Do you still hear me? Because
Yeah.
it was cut out.
Yeah.
Nothing happens overnight, and the way my hip hop shit goes, it's like a job now. Uh, I actually need a label now at this point, because like I can't keep. I'm not complaining, unless it's hard to uh be the one who prints all my shit
Yep.
and ship all my merch out, and book my shows. I have people working for me too, and like a manager, but I it's company oriented now. Like I said, it's a brand, so there needs to be more behind it, which is why I'm in the position to shop for a label.
Yeah.
But that took a lot of time to shift to where it's like this, and I never ever ever expected it to happen overnight. I didn't know if I ever thought I was gonna get big. I don't know. I can't say, oh, I didn't expect it to ever come this far. I kind of expected it to come this far,
Well, you worked for it, yeah.
but I worked for it. But the way it did is a little bit cooler than I imagined.
Yeah.
And you have all sorts of people backing me, and I thought I'd get more hostility from the beginning. So my name is built, and I have respect, and it's cool. And I'm in this like calm position where I know how to continue to where that respect will continue, and from new people. But nothing ever happens overnight. And, some people might pop off with a dope single and like a dope video, and it goes viral. But if you thought it was gonna happen right away, you didn't have that video. How did you think it was gonna happen? Because you're not playing a show, not you. Like you thought you were gonna blow up overnight. Like, ego. I'm young, whatever. I'm dope at rapping. No video, no shows, no merch.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you think this is gonna happen?
Yeah.
What did you think in your brain when you thought that? Right? Not you, like I said, but
it's
like
true.
I never thought that. I was just like, get on as many shows as you can, and people used to laugh at my face, like especially when I was younger. I looked a little bit different. I was going for this nerdcore look. Like I was a little bit chubbier, and I had glasses and like big gauge earlobes, and not a lot of tattoos yet, only my hand. And I would go to this party with a backpack on, like a Wu-Tang sweatshirt and like a little backpack. I'm like, yo, what up? I got demos. And some people were like, you don't see this anymore. Like, this kid's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll take a demo, dude.
Yeah.
And some people like, this is you? This is you? Uh-huh. And like, I'd have this swarm of people. I'd have a swarm of people that would be like, what the fuck you say? He's dope. Yo, what the fuck? No, it was just me. Check out my music. And that is a fucked up position sometimes, because they might laugh in your face, but you need them, because you need as many people. So you need things out of people that are going to take pleasure, which I don't know what that's like, to take pleasure in putting someone down.
Yeah.
People that liked it really, really liked it, and it would get me booked. And now it's coming full circle, dog.
Yeah.
Because, literally just the other day, this is crazy. Somebody commented on one of my, like we said, 25,000 fans on Facebook, verified. Somebody out of that mix from New Jersey commented on my photo, like, glad to see you're doing good, bro. I used to watch your open mic sets in Madison, New Jersey.
Right.
And I remember that. And those open mic sets, dude, I didn't have a CD out yet. The first one. This was like 2013, like just the nerd rap shit. Like wherever I could play, it was for yuppies, for rich white people at this club, wherever I knew that would like let you speak in the mic. I'd go. I remember playing Long Island, New York, in this nice club. It was supposed to be a straight hip hop show, but nobody showed up. It was just a promoter, his girlfriend. But check this out. The bouncer, he's a big dude. He was the only one who really actually got to hear the set. He was like supposed to, mark people at the door. And he comes up to me and is like, yo, that shit, your music, when I hear that shit, it makes me think about shit. Like, he was trying to say it was deep.
Yeah.
And I was just like, look at that. Because I was like, oh, wow, I drove an hour and 30 minutes and nobody's here. But what do I expect? I don't have fans yet. And the bouncer at least was like, I love this. So I was just like, keep going.
Right.
Keep going. Now, there's all sorts of international fans hitting me up every day, drawing me fan art. I get fan art. It's so dope. But somebody mixed in on that page, mixed with all these new kids drawing me shit, was this dude from when I wasn't even anything yet, who remembers me and still follows me. So it's all coming full circle, and it was worth it. And it just, like not overnight, but if you do it, it will happen.
Yeah. No. Overnight is about 10 years.
I'd say minimum 8 years is what really took me for people to like start. Like if I go somewhere, like some people know who I am, and it's weird. Like Even I've never played a show in Texas. Well, now I have, but I was in Texas. I wound up in Texas, and I moved there for a little bit. And motherfuckers, like I said, I hadn't played there. They knew who I was. Like, yo, I have your CD on my phone.
Right.
Yeah, and it was easy for me to. And I got booked, and then I played Texas shows while I was living there, and sold mad merch at these Texas shows. Right. So I think it's cool. And back then, when that happened and people recognized me when I first came to Texas, I didn't have 25,000 followers or fans yet. I still had like 7 or 10, like I said earlier.
Right.
So I was flattered as hell that these people knew who I was and like coming up to me. Like there's one time specifically, I was on a date with this chick. We were standing outside in line to see Whitechapel. It was like that it was a deathcore show.
Yeah.
It was like Chelsea Grin and Whitechapel.
So sick.
It was like the Whitechapel anniversary tour in a couple of years ago, and 2 different people at that venue were like, "Yo, Dizasterpiece, what up?" I'm like, "What?" And the girl was so impressed. She's like, "What? You're famous."
Right.
It was cool, but it was cool that I'd never been. I've never been there in my.
What's happening?
I've never been there again. I've never been there in my life, and in front of this girl, I'm chilling with all these people coming up to me and knew me, right? So
Right.
it goes believing in yourself
Mhm.
and chasing your dreams. Literally, that's a physical definition of how that goes a long way.
Yep.
Because people coming up to me in a place I'd never been, and I was like, anytime I wanted to quit, something like that would happen,
Yeah.
and I knew how foolish that would be to just quit, you know?
Yeah, that's
Just
like
to keep going.
I knew that things were starting to happen with Enigma when Lions at the Gate, which is ex El Nino, contacted,
Sick.
and they contacted me to do a reaction video for them, and I'm like,
That's sick.
So I'm just
There
like,
you go.
right, like I'm like, okay, maybe we are making a little bit of noise in the industry, so
Those are monumental moments.
Yeah, so it's hard work, but I mean, like I put in like 16-hour days a day on this company, right? So that's what you have to do.
You gotta love what you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you gotta love what you do. And you know, there's a while, like, check this out. Like, I've seen people like that. There's a time where like you, my little brother, going to a normal job and making much more money than me, and then to where COVID happened, and I'm now not playing shows at all for a minute, and I keep seeing people that I grew up with. It felt like they were passing me,
Mm-hmm.
being normal members of society, and I was like, yo, am I chasing a dream? That's kind of working, or this is what I'm not supposed to do. I said to God, I said literally, the universe, I was like, yo, because I had to regroup for a minute, and I was like, do you not want me doing this? Is this not what I'm supposed to do? Is this rapper shit just a fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
I will go back to college. I will play bass, guitar in a wedding band and play wedding covers.
Yeah.
What do you want me to sing? I'll join a band. I don't like Coldplay at all. I'll join a band like Coldplay. What do you need me to do? What am I supposed to not do music? Am I supposed to just do like, guide me? And you know what happened, bro? Every time I said that, one of that shit that like I just explained, like at the show where someone recognized me.
Yeah.
Yo, Dizasterpiece, what up? Shit that just didn't make any sense from left field. That would happen more and more. I was like,
You
yo,
see signs. You definitely
the universe
see the signs.
wants me. The universe, I was like, because everybody thinks they're gonna become a rapper and then like have to be told by the universe that it's not for them.
Mm-hmm.
Where for me, it was like the reverse. I was like, yo, the universe wants me to do this, and so I would pick it back up. I'd pick it back up every time, and it would snowball into that's here we are, like homies getting me this talk show moment with you, like this interview, and at the same time, a few different labels interested, and I have this record finished that I'm so proud of, and all this shit, the music videos that nobody saw yet, and it's about to, one way or another, regardless of the details of this label or that label, it's about to pop off for me to where not just my name's gonna be boosted, but my personal life is gonna get better now, and more of those like little insecurities about like I don't make enough money with this or that, the comparing, all that shit's not gonna be anything anymore because shows are happening again. I'm about to go play in 2 days. I go to Worcester, Massachusetts to go play to open up for Capadonna from Wu-Tang Clan.
Fuck,
so I hope I'm gonna be with Wu-Tang. I'm gonna be with Wu-Tang, and shout out Tim McMurdy, from MOD Classic, for getting me on that show. What up?
You gotta give Jizza a pound for me. But like, this is from some random dude in BC. The Genius is my inspiration, man. I love Jizza.
Yo, I don't know if he's gonna. I know for a fact Capadonna, but
Oh,
maybe
you'll be
there's a.
meeting them once you got Capadonna. He's gonna love your shit, and he's gonna be like, you're gonna come hang out with the rest of the crew.
That's the move. That's what we're trying to do because we have a mutual friend that's gonna introduce us.
That's wicked.
It's gonna be cool, and it's really nice to be plugged in. I already feel it starting to go back to be elevated to where like I know I guess that I deserve to be, which even if I deserved it or not, there were things in the way.
You earned it.
COVID was in the way. Thank you that you say I earned it. Thank you. And I believe I earned it.
Mm-hmm.
But now I've been extra hungry on the sidelines, waiting to get back onto the court or the field because of COVID. I think it's cool that I'm not that big yet, and I still get to be a part of that. Like, you know, everybody in your news feed announcing shows are back officially. So like the big local bands that you know who's gonna announce a show. People that nobody gives a fuck about their band. They're not gonna be dropping a show on you, but it's flexing. You know, like all the big hardcore bands from Jersey dropping shows, and all the big people in the industry dropping shows. Everybody's playing, everybody's touring, and I'm like, okay, fuck. I have a new album coming out. I haven't made a decision with who I'm signing to yet. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to announce shows. Am I gonna get left out? And it's nice to be part of that wave all of a sudden. I'm not left out. I got a big show coming up out of state with Capadonna. So God bless that, right? And then when the record comes out, bro, it's gonna be pa pa pa. It's gonna be so good. I'm so excited.
It's funny because I feel like you'd be able to approach Vinny and fucking sign with them. I can't remember his record label, but I guarantee like Vinny Paz would take
Vinny Paz.
Yeah,
Vinny
bro.
Paz.
Yeah.
Jedi Mind Tricks, bro. It's funny. One time on tour, I remember specifically in Maryland, I played. It was a fill-in day, so I needed a date, and someone gave me like a straight metalcore show.
Yeah.
I was the only rapper on the metalcore show in the middle of my own rap tour.
That's so funny.
And and I show up and I'm wearing like I think I was wearing like a Madball shirt, and I killed it. I danced. I don't know if these kids like me. People like didn't seem too friendly at this venue. They didn't know why I was on the show. So I moshed to a few bands first to show them like I'm not an outsider. And then mad people stayed. And eventually they really liked it. This one kid came up to me and said, yo, you remind me of Vinny Paz, Jedi Mind Tricks, bro. And that, I never thought about that. And that's, whether I'm like him or not, that's a compliment because Vinny Paz is dope. Jedi Mind Tricks is dope,
Vinny's
and that mixed in like mix that in with like the Mac Miller, Limp Bizkit, Cypress Hill,
yeah, dude,
Del the Funky Homo Sapien. I'll take all of it. That's
all
fucking
compliments.
Sick.
Yeah. If it makes somebody relate to somebody that you looked up to or that made a name for hip hop itself, then that's a compliment.
Really cool to me. Yeah. It's really cool that they say that. It's a major compliment, and maybe Vinny Paz would be interested, but here's the thing too. I'm not trying to like suck anyone's dick.
No, I know.
I'm not trying to. I don't want to just be, please sign me. But I'd like, nice thing would be to like how I'm getting introduced to Capadonna this weekend, and I got to open for Immortal Technique, Rakim, this or that. I believe that I'll be in the right place at the right time, and this cat or that cat who's dope. If they see it, they'll like it, and maybe we'll be able to do business. Because even if signed or not, it'd be nice to one day even do a track with Vinny Paz and Jedi Mind Tricks.
Well, that's the thing. You don't need to be signed to a label with hip-hop versus a band. Like a band, you need to get paid to record in a studio. Yeah. Hip-hop, you can do anywhere and make it sound good, right? So you can even start your own fucking label and put it out under yourself, and if people like you enough, they're just going to start following you.
I have a name in mind. I want to start. I'm actually starting a label at some point. I'm gonna actually drop it. I've never dropped it in an interview. I'm starting a record label called, and don't steal this shit because I'm getting it legally trademarked. Shake the Earth Records. Shake the Earth Records. But my goal, like, I want Dizasterpiece to blow up first.
Yeah.
So that Shake the Earth Records has like real distribution ties. Yeah. Like, I want to be a label that pumps money into bands and shit. But so I'm looking, the reason my goal isn't to be signed as Dizasterpiece, but right now it's currently a main goal because People could say this or that about labels. Oh, they take too much cut.
Mm-hmm.
Let these motherfuckers take a cut. I
They're
need
putting
money
money in your
pumped in.
pocket. Yeah.
Put me because I already tour. I already have press. I operate like a label. I know how to do distribution.
Yeah.
Right. But how about, like, I'm a business. It's simple. Another business signs on, pumps money into, now I have bigger tours, bigger press, uh, and they take this and that and that, and I have to slave away touring 7 months, 8 months a year. So be it.
Yeah.
So then in 2 records, I could do more of what I want and not need so much help. And they kept this, and they kind of, it's a mutual, they didn't make me per se, but I appreciate their part in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you hear all these horror stories about
Yeah.
the industry and record deals. Just know your worth and sign with the right guys, like the owner of the label.
Yep.
I want to be able to vibe with him and understand, though, it's still business. So if they need me to do this shit, I can't be like how Justin Bieber was like, oh, touring is slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your job, and you're fortunate enough that, but it's a trade-off. And I just feel like if I treated it, if I got in deep with like this label that was this notorious, I would have to fucking be a good employee of theirs and keep it simple. And I think I've seen bands get more freedom than other bands on this label or that label, and it's because of your relationship with the label, right? So I'm looking for a good, to sum it up, a good business partnership.
Yeah.
Because if I don't wind up on a bigger label, I'd like a better booking agent, or in distribution. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that elevates my name from here is what the goal is.
Yeah. No, 100%. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up? I don't want to take too much of your time, and we're already at 2 hours.
We're all over the place. Yeah, this is a good interview, man. I feel like I could just chop it up with you.
Oh, hell yeah.
About everything. I was gonna say, is there anything that you wanted to ask me further about the new record? Because we jumped all over, and I hope we talked about the new record as much as you want to.
I know that it's coming out, but we didn't talk about a date, and I would like to do I host a radio show on Stationhead,
Mm-hmm.
and basically it pumps numbers. Not that you need the numbers because you've got like 6,000 monthly listeners, but for underground bands, it's definitely fucking helpful because, I mean, we can get like 20 people, so 20 streams a song, but it would be cool to have.
I would love
to have you on the show and do a hip hop special with a bunch of other like underground hip hop artists, so you could be like the headliner in a sense, and then I would play a bunch of other artists that are emerging underneath, and I think it'd be
That's sick.
Then everyone kind of gets to hear some new stuff, so I think it'd be really awesome.
I'm all for that, man, and I would love to do future shit with you because you're good vibes.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
Just hit me up and let me know about what you got in mind, and we'll make it happen. As for the little details that you want to know about the album, there's no release date yet for the record, even though it's already, because I'm shopping it.
You're shopping, yeah.
Which is not something you say but I should say this to people. I'm waiting to see what label would be the right home to put it out, and we have some things in the works. So I'm buying myself a little bit more time and figuring that part out. And but initially, the album was supposed to come out in like July, backup. It was May or July or September, and we're gonna drop a music video with press and online news articles in May, and that got pushed to June, and we're ready to go and release a single at least with the video. But I was told that might hurt sales because now there's people that are interested. Then why would if we're gonna sign, why put it out myself that cuts into the album cut that they could blast? So now it's really like I literally, when I get off this interview with you, I get ready to go do that show in mass, and then like that in itself over the weekend will reveal more of what's gonna happen.
Right.
And then maybe I'll be able to let you know maybe the next time we talk on here. So
hell yeah. Well, I'll definitely have you on anytime. And then I'll add you on Facebook and send you some Australian hip hop, and I'll send you my last hip hop album I did. See what you think.
I look forward to hearing it, bro. I'm actually pretty excited to hear it.
I appreciate that. Well, thank you again for coming on the show.
Of course, I had a good time.
I had an epic time, and we'll definitely be in
Yeah.
contact, and we'll set up another interview because I think this is super fun.
Amazing. Okay, cool, bro.
All right,
I
bro.
look
You have a
forward
good
to
night.
it. You as well,
Peace,
man.
bro.
Peace.
And
Thank you.
have a good show this weekend.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Awesome. Stay
All right,
safe.
cool, man. You as well.